One of the reasons that I'm a little hesitant to ever discuss Dorothy is Dorothy hated to be discussed.
She was quiet and private is the word, and she was very private. She would share bits and pieces of her life, but not everyone knew her whole as who she was.
Dorothy once said to me, "You know all my secrets," and I said to myself, I wish that were true, you know.
She was all about perseverance.
She had tremendous strength of character.
She was genuine.
Inspirational. Dorothy was inspirational.
She was a regal human being.
She was committed to her children, to her husband, to her grandchildren, to her family and friends. I mean, committed all the way to the end of her life.
My first time meeting Mrs. Rodham was actually in Sunday school, and I believe I was in first grade, and she was the teacher. I can tell you honestly that I don't remember a single other Sunday school teacher I had for those years, you know, or many years afterwards. But I've thought about why she made such a big impression on me, and one thing was the way she looked. She was very elegant, and she was very sophisticated looking, and she just seemed more grown up.
Yeah, she was one of the moms, but a mom that, when I really look at it, was different for us because of all she went through, but very subtle, you know? Who would have known?
When Dorothy was 8 years old, she took her little 3-year-old sister by the hand, and her father put both of them on a train from Chicago to California, and as the train pulled away, Dorothy waved goodbye to her father and never saw him again.
She really did live a Cinderella existence when she was young, living with relatives out here where emotional sustenance was a little sparse. She was a real life Cinderella. Of course, she ended up, you know, in a castle herself, which I love.
She always told me, you know, growing up like that she always wanted to have a home for her children. You know, she wanted to be a good mother, and, you know, she wanted a different life for them than she had growing up.
She, from the beginning, was a helpful, supportive, team player kind of mom. She pitched in sort of quietly, did what needed to be done, but was there for us.
You could see how amused she was and delighted she was by those kids. Every baseball game we had on the corner, every argument we had sitting on that fence on Elm and Wisner, it was a gift.
I think she instilled hard work and dignity in her children, and that, you know, you can get what you want as long as you're willing to work hard enough for it and maintain your integrity.
And she had an outlook on life that was absolutely positive.
She got you. Dorothy was one of those people that she just got you and she understood you. And sometimes I said once, it was like she held up a mirror to reflect your better self or something. She was able to do that, make you feel good about yourself.
She was a great person to be with, but she wasn't one that was, she didn't really want to be in the limelight. You know what I mean? That was not her cup of tea.
And no matter where we were, she would say, "Don't tell anyone that I'm the First Lady's mother, and I just want to be Dorothy."
One day she looks at me and she goes, "Oscar, don't you ever introduce me as Hillary's mother. Tell them that I'm your girlfriend, that I'm your neighbor." But my favorite one of all was that I'm your grandmother. And we always went with that story everywhere we went after that.
You know, she just gave off good vibes. If you'd see her in a room, she'd be someone you'd want to go over and talk to, because she'd just be smiling and engaged with people, and, you know, she really did have a good aura.
Dorothy loved California so much, and she especially loved the ocean. And so we were fortunate enough to have a house on the ocean in Santa Barbara called Summerland, and she loved coming to that house. It seemed to bring about a great amount of tranquility and peace to her.
Because she didn't have that much of a childhood, I always felt like when we were having fun as a group, and we had a group who would come to Santa Barbara a lot, that she was almost like a giddy teenager.
She was an excellent interior decorator.
She loved decorating her house, and she loved being able to do that, which is always a challenge because she was, you know, controlling the purse strings. talents.
Her decorating talents, her knowledge of art worldwide, many artists, was just amazing to me.
She was a person who didn't have a degree, but she probably had taken more classes than anybody you know.
She took Spanish, she took history. She would share that with us. When we were going through college, she was going through college. I loved that.
I asked Dorothy, I said, you have all these hours, but you never put it together for a degree. And she said, well, I wasn't interested in the degree. I just wanted to know what I wanted to know about.
She just had this love of learning, that to embrace life. I mean, it just was so important to her to appreciate and understand all life had to offer, that deep intellectual curiosity, and how brilliant she was. She was a brilliant, brilliant woman.
She read all the time.
Her favorite subject was philosophy.
Yeah, she does put me to shame. She read nonfiction, you know.
She was extremely bright. She was very quick. She had a wonderful sense of humor.
Just before, probably her late 80s, we went out to dinner at a hip place in DC. As we got out of the car, the driver said, "Do you want me to wait?" And I, you know, I'm being flip, I made a joke. I said, "Oh, well, no, because we just might get lucky." You know, a couple of old ladies going out. I said, "We might just get lucky tonight, so we might be out a long time." So coming back to the car, he goes, "Well, so did you get lucky?" And Dorothy says, "No." She goes, "And I was trying to pass for 80 all night, too." You know?
She loved Dancing with the Stars. There was not a Dancing with the Star night that she would miss. And often we would, if she was here on a Monday, we would skip dinner and watch Dancing with the Stars whenever I was with her. The weekend before she passed, we were in LA, and we got to go to the show.
The Rolling Stones were coming to Little Rock. And we asked Ms. Rodham if she'd like to go see the Rolling Stones, and surprisingly she did.
Dorothy was a Rolling Stones fan of huge proportions.
She was shocked to learn that Keith Richards was in town. And he was only like a few houses down from where we were staying. She wasn't the type of person to go around seeking pictures or signatures, but Keith Richards is the one that I can think of that she would always like, "Oh my God, he's here. I want to meet him. I want to see him. I want to say hello." She loved him.
The Stones, you know, you can't always get what you want, and sometimes you get what you need. Maybe that's what sang to her. Maybe that's the real estimate of what Dorothy Rodham was. She was a Rolling Stones fan.
When you were touched by her, when you were interacted with her, you came away a little better for that.
I would probably rather have talked to her than almost anybody I know. She was not just interesting, but, you know, so reassuring and encouraging.
It was just, I'm trying to find a word, but it was electrifying, her friendship.
Leaves a void for us, but you know, one that is softened by such a long, wonderful, crazy life.